These are the machines that spring from the demented minds of those who never gave up playing in the sandbox. And on this play date, they bring their brand of roaring chaos to one of the best-kept secrets in auto racing. Up next, the All-Stars are jumping at Jennerstown. For the third straight year, we're coming at you from the Jennerstown Speedway Complex in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. The fans ready to pack this place. This has quickly become one of our favorite stops of the summer. It's always wild. There's always a lot of chaos on the track. We're not just talking about the little trucks. We're talking about the big trucks, the 12,000-pound racing juggernauts. There you see Stacy Jensen in the Identity Theft Ride truck, taking the All-Star Monster Truck Tour fans for the ride of their life. For the first time ever, we're bringing you a two-show weekend from here in Jennerstown. They've stepped it up as the track party continues here in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. We're going to bring you highlights of night number one, tell you how we got to where we are before we get into action here on night number two. A lot of storylines going into the second night of action. There you see the clock on the backstretch. When it hits 7, that means it's showtime. As we bring you, again, highlights from night number one. The EMT's always ready with the airlift. Fortunately, we've never needed it here for the monster trucks. Some of the safest racing vehicles in motorsports. And there you see one of the greatest competition directors in monster truck racing, Stacy Jensen. Now, night number one highlights getting underway. Chris Sawicki out of Chicopee, Massachusetts, driving for Greg Winchenbach's team out of Jefferson, Maine, opening things up in best trick competition with the Lumberjack and setting the pace. He would do so with a score of 5. It was a solid run, but it wasn't enough to keep him on top of things. But he would almost get himself in trouble before the night was over. Next up, our old buddy Brandon Darrow out of Elkton, Virginia, the Old Dominion Chevrolet, getting some wild sideways hang time as he was trying to go for one of his trademark slap wheelies off the K-rail. Didn't work for him, but he did follow it up, pulled one off there, a nice one. Didn't carry it out maybe as long as he wanted to, but a score of 8 would put him in a sustainable lead. Right behind him, this all-new Toxic 2.0, Cory Snyder out of Bethesda, Maryland, driving the Metal Shop chassis monster with the Metal Shop 557 cubic inch engine in the back, trying to one-up Darrow. Not quite able to do so, but he was impressive during his run. However, you hear the truck shut off. This electrical problem would plague him through night number one. That was just the beginning of it. We'll tell you about that as these highlights go on. He was not able to get over Darrow, though. A score of 4 for Cory Snyder in Toxic. Again, not what he was looking for. As Brandon Darrow talked to Chuck Plumley. You guys still have monster truck racing and monster truck freestyle still to go. We do, man. We're tickled to death to get this win. This is an awesome lineup for trucks for against this weekend. So to come away with a win, we are just totally stoked. Question is, would Darrow be able to carry that momentum into racing? We're going to go right to the semifinal round on this Crazy 8 track, is what we're calling it. We saw this track last year at Lake Erie. Of course, we had the 3-wide racing at Lake Erie this year because of the new pavement, so they brought the Crazy 8 track here to Jennerstown. A little bit bigger infield here at Jennerstown. They're able to really open these trucks up, but it was a tough night for everybody last night. David Too-Tall Olford in the near lane out of Staten, Oregon, driving Jurassic Attack here in the semifinals against Cory Snyder in Toxic. Through the first turn, they're side by side. But you see Snyder with a steering problem right there, one that he's been chasing all summer long on this new truck, Too-Tall, picking up that semifinal round victory and going into the championship round against the winner of our next matchup. This is Bad News Travels Fast, who won the best trick competition. Could he dispatch Greg Winchenbach in the brand new Crush Station? Believe it or not, those two turn obstacles are the same width. There are tires chained together on the far side to make that pair of cars the same width as the bus and make it an even turn. Right there you see Winchenbach getting into that dust on the pavement, sliding out, handing the win to Darrow in Bad News Travels Fast. The fans looking on there, loving the action here tonight as we stage our final pairing for this championship race. David Too Tall Alford in Jurassic Attack taking on Darrow in Bad News Travels Fast for the finals here at Jennerstown. Darrow, a little trouble in the first full turn, carried the inside tire. It slowed him down just a little bit. Could he make up the distance down the final straight? He could not. It was Too Tall taking the racing victory. The man out of State and Oregon driving the big machine out of Utah. Your racing champion.
But tonight, the racing wins. You guys still have monster but freestyle competition to go. Absolutely, we just want to come out here and put on a good show. I know Brandon and their family for a while. They're amazing people. He runs hard. He was the fastest one all night. He was smooth. I don't know how it was blowing out.
These guys have had a long, hard summer. There you see him going to work trying to fix those steering issues on Toxic. Would it be ready? Remember, they had an electrical problem during the best trick competition. More on that as the story develops here through these highlights. Lumberjack opening up freestyle. Chris Sawicki, remember I said he almost got himself in trouble. Well, he does get himself in trouble during this run. Keep an eye on the big GMC logging truck when he goes over the bus. Not a lot of dirt on this backside. Almost endos the truck, does a little front end damage there. A freestyle score of 16 for Sawicki. So he starts strong. It was going to be a tough one to get over, but there was plenty of competition behind him. Now, Hunter Souza out of Denver, California, driving another machine for Team Throttle Monster out of Utah, and he has been struggling with electrical issues in this truck as well. They have been fighting gremlins all weekend long, and they would jump back up and bite him here. Score of 13. You can see the rear steering not cooperating with him. We saw a similar problem when Nate Kirchner was at the wheel of that truck in Lake Erie, Pennsylvania earlier this year. Now, Darrow, Bad News Travels Fast. He is currently leading the points here with the All-Star Monster Truck Tour in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. Trying to get an event overall. It would be his first of the year on this tour. He is looking good right now in this truck coming into night number 2 and may have the best chance to pick up a victory here on the second night of action at the Jennerstown Speedway. But he turned things up in freestyle, night number 1. Again, with those trademark slab wheelies, hit every obstacle on the course. May have wanted to pick up the pace a little bit, but remember, they had to get through 2 shows. He raises the bar with a score of 20 to take over the lead. Right behind him, Greg Winchenbach, again in that brand new crush station out of Jefferson, Maine, the Monster Lobster, going to work, trying to get the suspension set up on this truck just right. They're not quite happy with the geometry right now. They're trying to find a happy medium. This truck has not been landing right for him, and it did catch up with him on this night here in Jennerstown. Remember, running on pavement, the landings you take can be a lot harder than landing on dirt, and Greg found that out big time when he took on the bus. Tripped him up right there. Now he'll go into another move, and with this hit, he actually broke the shifter. We were real worried about him, though, as he took a lick in the cab. He was okay, but Stacy Jensen was right on site to check on Greg. They would get the truck refired and let Greg Winchenbach finish his run in the awesome-looking crush station out of the state of Maine. Wrapped it up with some tires, smoking donuts. A score of 19 was all he could muster, though. It was a good score, but with that big pause in the middle, Darrow would stay out in front. David, Too-Tall-Olford out of State, Oregon, in Jurassic Attack. He had a great run in racing, looking toward an event overall. He's not leading in the points, but he could take over if he could get a freestyle victory here. However, it would not be Too-Tall's night here in Lake Erie. He had a strong run going, but motor problems would jump up and bite him during this run, and there's a good possibility this would be the last roar for Jurassic Attack here in Pennsylvania. Pulling to a stop with a score of 12. Big engine problems on that truck right now. They are frantically trying to get that thing fixed currently here for night number 2. Now, Cory Snyder in Toxic, wrapping up our freestyle coverage from night number 1. Remember those electrical problems that he had. Keep those in mind as he makes this run, because he almost got in big time trouble. But the explanation as to why is kind of interesting. The truck's running great. It's landing beautifully. The motor is sounding nice and crisp. But there was this on and off electrical problem that kept coming up during the run. You hear the clean cut on the landing. What had happened is a group of wires had become caught in a limiting strap, and when he landed there, it severed him clean. That was the end of the road for Cory Snyder. They do have the truck fixed, but they were chasing the problem all night long as it was hidden back in the back. You can see Kevin Rico going to work on it right there. However, Bad News Travels Fast would be your overall champion on night 1. Can he do it again? We'll find out when we come back to Jennerstown.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Crush This. For an inside look at the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This. Available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date show, ticket info, and a wide selection of photo and video galleries, visit monstersmonthly.com. And by RPM Army, featuring action-packed content from around the web. Visit rpmarmy.com, your source for motorsports on the go.
This packed house is ready for action as the sun sets to the west of the grandstands here at Jennerstown Speedway in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. Nice breeze in the air. You see the flags blowing, and we're getting ready to get things underway with best trick competition action here on night number 2. Lumberjack Chris Zolwicki, the big black GMC body logging truck out of Jefferson, Maine, being driven by the man out of Chicopee, Massachusetts. Let's see what he has here to open up this competition on night number 2. More fresh iron. Nice wheel stand there. He's not known for getting real wild right off the top, but we've definitely seen this guy put on a show. He's not afraid to get on that loud pedal if everything is just right, but he wants to get to the end of this one. It has been a rough weekend for everyone. And Zolwicki looking good. Probably not going to stay on top of things, but not disappointing here at Jennerstown Speedway. Another look at that last jump that he made. Pretty much the same run he made last night. We'll see what the score is. Score of 4 for Zolwicki, opening things up here in the best trick competition. Up next, Hunter Souza wasn't able to make a run in best trick last night because of electrical problems. See what he has here tonight. It's good to see him right off the top of the show out here. The engine sounds good. A nice hit. Trying to get it into a slap wheelie, but there's a lot of dust coming off of those ramps. The track has been watered, but there's a breeze in the air, and it's drying out the course real fast. And Souza rolling on. Well, now he's going to go off the track, so it'll only be one hit for Hunter Souza. More problems for the wrecking machine. This team out of Utah has had a really long summer. They're not done yet, but they're just trying to get these two trucks through the show, and we have found out, in fact, that Jurassic Attack will not be back tonight. That motor is done. Now, Darrow, bad news, travels fast, trying to pick up where he left off, hits the other K-rail. There's two of them down there. Not able to get the slap wheelie off of that one as he was pointed at the FMX ramp. Didn't want to get into that thing. Let's see what he's got here. Carrying a medium slap wheelie there. He's definitely going to raise the bar with that run, but I do think he wanted a little more out of it. The big Chevrolet going to work the Sign Pro sponsored Bad News travels fast out of the Harrisonburg, Virginia area, Elkton to be exact, and Brandon. As always, we say he made good on this game ever since he purchased this truck from Bruce Haney. He and Pops and Nick Wishart keeping this truck at the top of its game. It's always clean, always ready to go. A score of 5 to take the lead. See if he can get another win tonight. He's in good company, though. Here comes Greg Winchenbach in Crush Station out of Jefferson, Maine. He's also known for some slap wheelies, but he gets real sideways right there. See what he has for his second hit. This has been a best trick competition of single moves so far. Tough night for these guys. Big sky wheelie out of the Monster Lobster, the Jefferson, Maine driver, Greg Winchenbach, putting the horsepower into some crush cars over there, standing it straight up and down. Putting the big red claws in the air. Look at that. The Crush Station machine going to work, and it's a score of 8 to take the lead. He jumps into the lead. Cory Snyder now out of Frederick, Maryland. Toxic 2.0. Getting some hang time over there. Now, he's got some new tires on this weekend. Those are an old set of Firestones. They're not new tires. Nice hit right there. They're not brand new tires. These are an old set of Firestones that Size Matters Off-Road actually went and shaved a bunch of rubber off. They're super light, and they've got a real deep tread on them. Looks like he's not done. The run has already been scored. I can tell you so far he has not taken over the lead. So, Crush Station going to stay in front as Snyder going to burn a little more rubber off of those tires. Nicely done. We're going to go on board real quick here with Snyder. Looking straight up in the air. He had a nice sky wheelie on the run, but those two moves were not enough to get him over Greg Winchenbach. Take a look at that donut from on board now. Score of 6, so he's 2 points short of the lead, like I said, but none to be ashamed of. The truck sounds good. As I mentioned before, they did figure out their electrical problem. Your winner here in the best trick competition, though, is going to be the man out of the Pine Tree State, Greg Winchenbach in Crush Station. Can he carry that momentum into racing? As always, we will find out when we come back to the All-Star Monster Truck Tour here at Jennerstown Speedway. The track ready for racing. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. we're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter.
Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo.
Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Welcome back to the Jennerstown Speedway Complex in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. The FMX riders keeping the crowd pumped up as we get ready for round number 1 of monster truck racing. Here is a look at our bracket. Hunter Souza and the Wrecking Machine drew a bye into the semifinal round. He was slated to take on David Tuta, Alford, and Jurassic Attack. Jurassic Attack will not make the call tonight, unfortunately so. Toxic 2.0 will battle it out with Bad News Travels Fast, and then teammates Lumberjack and Crushstation will finish off our round 1 competition. As our FMX riders clear the track, we are ready to go with the first round of monster truck racing. Stacy Jensen getting down there to the starting line. He will stage these trucks. As I said before, he's one of the best competition directors in the business. One of the nicest guys you will meet out here on the track. Our first pair heading to the starting line. There you see the big Chevy out of Elkton, Virginia. That is Brandon Darrow. And Bad News Travels Fast. Pops and Nick over there on the backside, along with the rest of Brandon's family, watching from the trailer to see if he can knock out a very powerful Toxic 2.0 being driven by Cory Snyder. Of course, Jay Snyder, his father, Kevin Rico, their crewman in arms, I guess you could call him. Kevin has been all around this industry, worked for various teams, including Andy Slifko of Eradicator fame. So you know they've got a good crewman there in Kevin Rico, keeping this truck nice and tight. This should be a good matchup. Two real solid, real clean, very powerful vehicles going at it here in round number 1. The Ford body machine against the Chevy body machine. Here we go. Snyder with a bit of a lead coming out of the first turn. He made a beautiful turn. It's getting a little bit dusty over there. They're together coming to the end, but Snyder with the lead will cross the finish line first. He made a better pair of turns than did Darrow. As we go on board right now with Brandon, Darrow will watch how he went through this course. This is the other side, further away from our cameras. You can see a little bit claustrophobic over here between the K-rails and the bus. Now that might be playing some mental games with these guys as they go through the track here on the left-hand lane as you leave the starting line. He had a good run, though. Take nothing away from him. Cory Snyder just had almost a perfect run there in Toxic, so he was going to be hard to beat either way. We'll see who Cory takes on in the next round. Right now, though, Darrow is sitting as a potential fast loser. It depends, though, on how whoever doesn't win this next matchup fares on the clocks. There you see Greg Winchenbach and Crushstation staging the big monster lobster out of Jefferson, Maine. The Pine Tree State Monsters going to war right here. That truck right there, the Lumberjack, being driven by the man out of Massachusetts, Chris Solwicki, the big GMC truck-bodied machine, going to war with his boss right now. Greg carrying the momentum by way of winning the best trick competition. Jensen says they are staged. We're waiting on green. Winchenbach way out in front right now. He's on a beautiful pass. He's really not having to push the truck all that hard. So Wiki not giving him much competition. Not sure if there's been a problem with Lumberjack or if Sawicki's just trying to make it through this night again. You have to remember they had to work all night long to put Crushstation back together after the rough ride he took. There you see Hunter Souza getting ready for his semifinal round matchup. Here's a look at the bracket. He will take on Greg Winchenbach, and there you see it. Bad News Travels Fast, your fast loser will match up once again with Cory Snyder in Toxic 2.0. So he gets a second shot to try to knock Snyder out of the bracket. We will see, though, if Greg, the Big Lobster, can stay in the field as he matches up with a second-generation driver out of California, driving for the team out of Utah. That beautiful Chevy-bodied wrecking machine out of the state of Utah, ready to go to war now with Crushstation as they pull to the line. These guys have all been really battling attrition here this weekend, and you have to remember, too, of 2021, this is a season where a lot of teams are trying to gain back a lot of lost time from 2020, so they've really been putting a hurting on this equipment with some really packed schedules, and this is a long track. You're putting a lot of time on your motor, on your tires, really heating things up, and a big changeover now with the turn course after all the drag racing we've seen here in 2021. This is quite a bit different here with this Crazy 8 track. We'll see, though. Souza did not have a round one race. Is that going to hurt him as he runs the lane nobody's won out of so far tonight? Battles the Monster Lobster, Greg Winchenbach in Crushstation, waiting on green. Greg looking good. He set the truck up perfectly for that corner, but he slides out. Did Souza take advantage of it? Well, he's going to have nothing but an advantage now. It looks like there is a problem with the rear steering on Crushstation. And the word we're hearing over the radio from the Crushstation crew is that there was an electrical problem with the rear steering. That is what is going to cost Greg Winchenbach a final round berth. He had a great run going. You can see he launches the truck to the right to start, to get himself into that corner. He got it set up perfectly, but watch the rear tires. They will not straighten out. He was trying to counter it right there, and they were going wherever they wanted to every time he got on the throttle. And that's the end of the road for the Big Lobster out of Maine. That brings us to our other semifinal round matchup. Ford Chevy, at least in terms of fiberglass. You're looking at a metal shop motor, though, in the big Toxic 2.0 machine out of Frederick, Maryland. They're on board now with both of these guys. Looking over the left front tire of Brandon Darrow's Bad News Travels Fast. Looking out over the roof of Toxic 2.0. We want to give a big thank you to Kevin Rico for rigging that up for us. In between keeping that truck good, nice, and tight. Here for the semifinal round, Toxic 2.0 Bad News Travels Fast, the rematch here at Jennerstown. Burning up the tires right there. Not the same turn he had in round one. And Daryl tries to take advantage of it, but he has problems. Snyder looking for Brandon Darrow. He does not have to push the truck now. Just make a legal run, and Snyder will move on into the championship race. Not the way he wanted to take that win, but as they say, any win is a good win. Snyder, well, it looked like he might have been having a problem as he pulled off the track. We saw him brake check the truck real quick, so maybe something doesn't feel right in Toxic. Again, it's been a rough weekend. We go on board now with Darrow. Let's watch as he rounds this corner. Did he just slide out? Did he have he caught the ramp just a little bit right there, got that inside tire in that dust. That was all she wrote for Brandon Darrow, and Bad News Travels Fast. Just a little driver's error right there, and it cost him a final round berth. So both of our semifinal round races were determined by problems in the first full turn. We're going to go on board now with Toxic 2.0. Well, you can see him get on the brakes real hard right there. Not a pretty turn for him, and that might be why he was checking up when he was rolling off the track there. I'm not sure if there's a problem in that truck or not. I thought he may have checked up because he knew Brandon Darrow had stalled in that corner, but it looks like Snyder may be having some kind of a problem. Waiting to find out if he's indeed going to make the call. The word we're getting is he's still having a steering problem. Watch it right here. The rear tires on this truck, and this is actually common on pavement, the rear steering tends to be a little bit slow when you're trying to turn those big tires on pavement. There's a lot of resistance between the pavement and the rubber, but it looks like he may be having an actual electrical problem still. The rear steering not working particularly quick for him, and you can see how long it took it to come back right there. So Snyder climbing on down. The crew will immediately go to work getting this truck ready.
Doing good. Not much. There may not be much left after the show, but
They look all right.
They do pretty good, honestly. I like them better than, well, can't say I like them better than the ball tires, but yeah.
Well, Cory knows he definitely took some rubber off in that round of racing when he got on the brakes. Luckily, there's enough rubber on these tires. It's pretty hard to flat spot them, and definitely in a better shape. The bald tires he was mentioning were the China tires he's been running for the past several years, and there's really no tread left on those. Our final round bracket, Toxic 2.0, who had to dispatch Bad News Travels Fast twice, and then Wrecking Machine, who got the bye into the semifinal round, took out Crush Station, who had defeated his teammate Lumberjack in round number 1. So it'll be Toxic 2.0 going back into the right lane. He will take on Hunter Souza in the Wrecking Machine. Hunter out of the state of California. Again, driving the big Chevy out of the state of Utah. And we are back on the line right now. Toxic 2.0 and Wrecking Machine. Odds-on favorite in this run has to be Toxic 2.0, but it's kind of a toss-up. Both of these guys have been having issues with the rear steering here this weekend. So this could be a battle between two trucks that are having some mechanical fault right now. We'll see. Stacy Jensen getting them both staged up. Souza is ready to go. Snyder pulling to the starting line. This is your final round here in Jennerstown. Thumbs up, waiting on green. Good start for both point into the turn. And Souza is up against the rail. It's all Cory Snyder in Toxic. He does not know that yet, though. Working his way through the track, he has to see at this point that Hunter is nowhere to be found. Snyder's probably looking around for him right now. Again, any win's a good win, but you can see Wrecking Machine sitting over there to the right of your screen, frozen up against the wall. I'm not sure what the problem was this time, but he did shut it down. Not the way Cory Snyder likes to pick up a victory, but this really has been a weekend of survival so far, so we will see. Had a great run going. Had Souza been able to keep the truck in the competition, that would have been a great final round matchup. Again, both of them suffering from electrical problems here this weekend, but let me tell you, keeping the truck on the track is as big a part of the game as anything else. Cory Snyder in Toxic picking up your racing final victory here in Jennerstown, and it's a very popular one with this crowd. They saw him here in the OG Toxic last year. He put on quite a show, did not have the showing that he was hoping to last year, as the truck literally broke in intros. He wasn't able to make a best trick run. He wasn't able to make a run in racing, but he came back out and burned it down in freestyle. Shows up this year, and he's definitely been making up for lost time last year. Cory Snyder in Toxic, your racing champion here on night number 2. Who will take the overall, though? Freestyle still to come. Welcome back to Jennerstown, Pennsylvania, as we take a look at the overall points at this time, following racing here in Jennerstown. You can see basically 3 points separating each truck with the exception of third and fourth position. Toxic 2.0 leading by 3 points over Crush Station. Then you see Wrecking Machine and Bad News Travels Fast tied for third and fourth. Lumberjack rounding out our 5-truck field, but it's still anybody's ball game. If you can pick up a win here in freestyle, depending on where your opponents finish, you could actually win the whole show. Chris Solwicki out of Chicopee, Massachusetts, opening things up. There you see the lady in red. That's Jen Bay of Photogenic Photography. Check her out on Facebook. She takes some of the best photos in the monster truck industry. It's always great to see her, and it's great to see her all the way out here in Pennsylvania. This is a long way from home for the Bay family. As Solwicki getting freestyle started off strong. A nice hit right there over the crush cars. Solwicki, known for working the track very well. Again, he's not always going to be the wildest out there, but he's not afraid to use this truck up when he has to. We've seen him make some incredible moves. He completely destroyed the rear end of his previous chassis out in Lake Erie, Pennsylvania 2 years ago when he landed and folded up the left rear 4-link bar. And right now he would like to avoid that happening, but trying to put on a show for the fans here. Jennerstown hits one of the only pieces of fresh iron still left on the track. Gets a nice wheel stand out of that. Solid run for Solwicki. He's going to wrap it up right there with a score of 17. The man out of Massachusetts driving the big black GMC out of Maine. Going to set the bar. Right behind him, though, Hunter Souza out of Dinner, California. Driving the big Chevy out of Utah for Team Throttle Monster. KCM chassis underneath. See what Souza can do. He has had a tough weekend. This whole team has. They've got one truck completely out of the competition, which is very uncharacteristic for them. Speaks volumes about this team, though. Tutal is back there trying to make sure that Souza is able to complete his night here on the track. I have my doubts that Souza is going to take a win. He said he's really just trying to get this truck through this night. They have a long week ahead of them as they've got to get this truck fixed and be at another event out in the Midwest, I believe in the state of Iowa. Well, and it's going to end earlier than I think even he wanted it to. The truck shuts down right. This has just not been the weekend for the team out of Utah. They have had a great 2021, but they, again, have had such a tight schedule that they have had to run their equipment ragged, and that is not a shot at them by any means. It is a testament to how hard these guys work that they're even able to keep the truck in this competition as hard as they run these machines each and every week. A score of 8, but he did get a chance to work out in front of the crowd. Take nothing away from them. If you see the Team Throttle Monster trucks are going to be in your area, get tickets and go out and see them. And if you see the All-Star Monster Truck Tour is going to be in your area, you got to see this live. Now, the guy who was your overall champion last night, Brandon Darrow, Bad News Travels Fast, wanting to wrap up his weekend in style here in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. A beautiful Chevrolet bodied machine out of Elkton, Virginia. Again, purchased this truck from Bruce Haney many years ago, and about a decade ago now, and he has just been making good with every pass down the track, keeping this name alive in the sport. Put the old school colors back on this truck about 2 years ago. You have to remember the original Bad News Travels Fast started life as the second Excalibur, the Excalibur Racer that made its debut back in 1991. And then in 2004, Bruce Haney debuted this Patrick chassis, Bad News Travels Fast, that's gone through many, many looks and schemes over the years. Brandon's probably taken it through the most schemes as they change it up just a little bit each and every year. But always likes to keep it fresh for the kids out there who love watching him run. Again, one of the cleanest operations in the business, and Brandon says he's OCD, and that's not always good for a monster truck driver, but here, it's definitely keeping one of the classiest in the business, and that right there is his trademark. He actually ripped the lit bow tie off of the tailgate. You see the light dangling there. Might need to do a little body work, which is almost unheard of for this team. Keeping the Sign Pro Chevy flying high, though. He's not disappointing the crowd here in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. Got those lighter weight, more malleable, bouncing Goodyears in the front, the heavier, more clawing Firestones in the back that help him get those slap wheelies. We'll see. What does Darrow have left? There we go, carrying one out all the way to the grass. Sets it down, trying not to get too hard on the throttle and tear up the lawn here in Jennerstown. He wouldn't be the first guy to do it. The track management here, though, absolutely loves bringing these monster trucks into this beautiful facility here in the south central part of the state. Bad News Travels Fast, looking good, Darrow. Coming out to the cheers of an adoring crowd. We're going to take a look back at that run. Watch it. First big slap wheelie he got out of it, kind of a pogoing wheelie, and he actually set that thing so far back he pushed the wheelie bar into the bed. That's how he tore the bow tie off. Here's a look at it from on board. Looking up at the summer skies here in Pennsylvania, the Keystone clouds in the sunset as we look at the second wheelie he pulled off, and this one he carried all the way out. That's what he's been looking for all weekend long. Score of 22 raises the bar big time. Take one more look on board with him at that second wheelie. You hear the throttle release, not real hard on it. It's finesse. If there's one thing Darrow has, it's finesse to keep that front end up. Here's another guy that's known for slap wheelies, Greg Winchenbach out of Jefferson, Maine. In the Monster Loves to Crush station, he was your best trick winner. He could win this freestyle. Has not been able to get those slap wheelies where he wants them in this new truck, but it's only been out for a few weeks. It actually was late making its debut, and they've been working with it, though, to get it where they want it. There you see Jen Bay getting the photos again. It's great to see the Bay family again, by the way, out here on the eastern seaboard. Of course, Jen, Nate, Ron, a long way from home. One of their favorite drivers, Cory Snyder, on hand here. They've been following him around all summer long. So it's good to see them all the way out here in Pennsylvania. Greg Winchenbach going to work in the Crush station. Trying to get the slap wheel, almost got it right there, but he got some dust under the back tires. It cost him. We'll see. I think he may have a rear diff going away. The truck does not seem to be launching straight right now. He may have hurt something. Could have been broken from last night, too. You have to imagine. After the hit that he took. And again, nosediving on him right there, though not as hard as the hit he took last night. Seems to be getting a feel for this truck. He'll know exactly where to set the shocks to not hurt him after a few runs on this chassis. But it's looking good right now. Each time out, the truck gets better and better and better. Smoke and dust under the lights. The fans loving it as Winchenbach finishes up his run in Crush Station. The Pine Tree State driver doing a nice job. What is the score? Is it enough to take the lead from Brandon Darrow? Crush Station running hard. Had a great run. The momentum was good on that run. I'll say his momentum was better than Brandon Darrow's, but what it is, it's going to be enough to take over the lead. A score of 23 for Greg Winchenbach in Crush Station. Now our final freestyler rolling out in front of the crowd. Out of Frederick, Maryland, this new machine debuted in October of last year down in Georgia. Cory Snyder in Toxic 2.0. Machine that they really brought around for 2021. Big time horsepower, 557 cubic inch engine in the back of it. Cory with his trademark hole shot to start off freestyle. Comes out flying. He's looking to take this victory. He has the race victory. Greg Winchenbach in Crush Station is leading in points right now. Cory trying to keep him from being number one at the end of the night. Can Toxic take away the lead from the Lobster? Just getting it warmed up. Up and over the bus. Best hit we've seen off of that obstacle all weekend long. You can tell Snyder has gained a lot of confidence in this piece of equipment and in his shocks and in this truck's ability to soak up a landing because he's taking more chances with it, launching it kind of into awkward positions. They built this truck to beat on, and he is doing just that. Big slap Willie right there. He's got to outdo everyone who ran in front of him, challenging Brandon Darrow. Didn't carry it as long as Darrow did, but definitely challenged him with the vertical slap Willie right there. Cory Snyder in Toxic 2.0 putting on a classic. Headed back for the bus, and a massive lead for Toxic 2.0. What does Snyder have left he can do in the run? If he stopped right now, I do believe he would take the lead, but he's not stopping. I know he's got more in the tank. Third hit on the bus, and he just goes huge right there with the big Ford out of Maryland. Again, the only guy to hit that thing 3 times, and they're the biggest hits we've seen all week long. The fans are loving Toxic 2.0, and he's going to wrap it up there under the smoke and the lights, taking a little more rubber off those Jeff Hood cut tires. There is no way he didn't take the lead. Look at that. He's going to park it right up on the pit side wall. Toxic 2.0, Cory Snyder getting them on their feet here in Jennerstown. That is how he wanted to leave this crowd. He was not happy with his showing here last year. Had all kinds of problems. They've been battling electrical problems here this year, but it came around for him. Here the fireworks going off in the back. We're going to take another look here at this slap wheelie. Look at this. Did not touch the wheelie bar to the ground. He came within probably less than an inch. And then these huge hits over the bus. That was his second hit right there. And again, the LEDs on this truck, especially nighttime on a racetrack, it just adds to the aesthetic, especially when he does something like this as they glow through the smoke and dust. Cory Snyder wrapping it up. What's the score? He does it, a perfect 30 to take not only the freestyle victory, but the overall. Now they've got to get the truck off the track because it does not want to refire. He probably ran all his battery power down, but Cory Snyder doing the old line state proud here in the Keystone State. Take a look at our final points. Toxic 2.0 winning it all by 10 points with a racing victory and a freestyle victory. What can you say, though, about Greg Winchenbach and Crustacean? Second place in freestyle. Went out in the semifinal rounds of racing with steering issues, but he did win the best trick competition. Darrow, bad news travels fast, though, also winning over the crowd here in Jennerstown. Lumberjack and Wrecking Machine rounding out the field of 5. And don't forget, you got to tip your hat to Team Throttle Monster, Hunter Souza and David Too Tall Olford for trying to keep those trucks running after a rough summer here this week. And we're not done with the All-Star Monster Truck Tour. We'll be seeing you again from Chattanooga, Tennessee. That'll be coming up in a few weeks. We got plenty more action coming to you here in 2021. We will see you next time.